In this video I'm going to be giving you my 5 big reasons why I switched to Micro Four Thirds. Join me. Now I'm here in Lanarcost outside the Priory. We've been here before, and do you know what? This afternoon I've tried several times of doing this. The amount of traffic which is coming along this country road is unbelievable. So if you hear the odd car in the background, don't worry about it too much. I've never seen so many cars on a country road in my life. Now don't forget to keep watching, because I'm going to give you my #1 reason at the end as to why I switched to Micro Four Thirds over any other camera format. And also keep watching till the end, because I'll be giving you an extra bonus reason as to why Micro Four Thirds is the format for me. Now number 5 is quality. Whichever camera I'm using in the range, I've got really good quality shots, whether it be from the GX8, which is this rangefinder style camera, all the way through to the OMD EM1, which I'm using at the moment for the video, or to my G9. I'm getting really good consistent quality shots. The sensors are across the range good, whether I'm using it in a pocket camera or whether I'm using it in the bigger cameras. Identical quality from that. The processors are good. What we're losing on some of the lesser cameras is some of the features perhaps, but what we do know is that whatever we're getting, we're getting good quality. Remember, I haven't switched to this to go down in range. I'm a professional photographer and I need the quality of the output to be consistently good for my clients. I've got no problems on the Micro Four Thirds system. Whichever camera I'm using, I know that the quality of the output is going to be good. The difference I have between some of the more pro-end cameras and the lower end is just features. And if I can work around those features for the shot that I'm doing, then I know by using Micro Four Thirds I'm going to have superb quality. And I've challenged people in the past to see the quality difference between a full frame print and a print from a Micro Four Thirds camera. And I've never yet found anybody who can really start telling the difference and they're actually getting really big. Remember, on a 20 megapixel Micro Four Thirds camera, you've got the same pixel count as from a 20 megapixel on a full frame or an APS-C camera. The only difference that you have is the size of the landing zones on the sensor. I'll give you a difference insofar as how it handles the dynamic range. But otherwise, the 20 megapixel sensor is going to give you 20 megapixel on whatever format you have. And these will give you superb output shots. Number 4 is a mirrorless system itself. The beauty of this, it gives you a what you see is what you get aspect of photography, and that really is good for me as a photographer, because it means that the more photographs I can take which are keepers, the better my workflow is. Now again, with mirrorless, it means that I've got an electronic viewfinder as well as an electronic display on the back, and that gives me the ability to see exactly the same whichever method I'm using to see the shot, and that gives me again consistency. So really I want to be taking the best shot I can out of camera. Now previously an awful lot of it was guesswork and using that knowledge that you have. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that we shouldn't use the fundamental basics of photography to get the best shot. However, this really does give us a bit of an extra edge to what we do. So if I'm adjusting my exposure on this, I can see instantly the change in the exposure. Whether underexposed or overexposed, I can see it before I ever press the shutter release. The other thing for this, of course, it gives me 100% of viewfinder view. I'm seeing exactly what I get. On older cameras, all the DSLR cameras, I'd be quite often on shooting and only seeing 97–98% of the actual image because of the restrictions on the viewfinder. Here I've got an actual screen which is showing me everything that's on there. Not only that, by putting the information on, I can see all sorts of other information on the screen straight out, which wasn't displayed on a DSLR. So I can see in this case, my spirit level to see if I'm level. I can see all the shooting ability straight in the viewfinder. And that gives me the advantage of not having to do the old chimping motion where I'm taking the viewfinder away from my face, the camera away from my face to be able to look through the back. The other thing is as well that when I've taken the shot, that shot will stay on screen for a few seconds straight afterwards, and I can see this without taking it away from my face. What that does, if I'm taking photographs of people, it keeps their attention on where you're actually based. If you can get them looking at the camera in the first place, as soon as you start chimping, they're distracted and they'll look away. You have to start again. For me doing portraits, this is really, really good. I can see if I've got a good or a bad working shot almost immediately afterwards, and then I can carry on and take the next few shots as I need to. Number 3 on my list has got to be the features. The features of Micro Four Thirds system are outstanding, and I know that the other manufacturers have managed to catch up over the last couple of years, but Micro Four Thirds had most of these features in almost from the beginning. In-body image stabilization has given us amazing control over the camera, and that now being combined with the stabilization in lens gives us on some cameras up to almost 7 stops of stabilization, unheard of previously, and this gives us the ability to shoot in light levels we wouldn't believe possible. Now also, because of having that IBIS, we've got the ability to move the shutter around and create a composite, to give a high definition shot, which on some of the cameras is up to 80 megapixel in the effective size, by moving the sensor on its IBIS mount ever so slightly and then compounding all the photographs together into one 80 megapixel shot. Not only that, it's an open architecture system. This is a system which has been developed as standard, agreed between more than one manufacturer, and also encourages third-party lens manufacturers to join the party and produce goods to fit that standard. High-speed sync for flash. I was used to the idea of 160th of a second being about the maximum I could sync a flash to, but on these I'm getting flash syncs up to 400th of a second very, very comfortably without any banding. Absolutely unheard of again previously. The fact that on some of the Olympus cameras, when you're in bulb mode doing very, very low light shots, where you can actually build up a composite image on the screen and see how the image comes together as you're watching it in low light and give you the perfect exposure in that way. Again, something it would be unheard of on a DSLR camera. These are just some of the features. You need a book to go through the whole lot, but it gives you an idea as to some of the reasons why I've gone to Micro Four Thirds. Now keep watching till the end and I'll let you know what my number 1 reason for switching to Micro Four Thirds was over other formats. Coming in at number 2 for me is the range. The amount of cameras available, from tiny pocket cameras like such as the GX1, there's a link to the video for the GX1 review above, all the way through to my G9 and my EM1 Mark II. These are pro-end cameras, all using the same lens format, all using the same sort of sensors on them, so you're getting fantastic quality results, which we've said earlier. But this gives us a great deal of range. Now it's not only Lumix and Olympus who are making lenses for this, there are a huge amount of lenses, and again the mirrorless format meant that we didn't have a mirror box in the way, so we could actually use other manufacturers' lenses with adapters and get some great results. So right from the off we've been able to use a huge range of lenses, not just the original manufacturer's lenses with them. Like an awful lot of other cameras, there are third-party lenses specifically built for Micro Four Thirds. Sigma, for instance, I did a review of a Sigma 60mm lens. Again, you can see the results above that on there. But there are a huge range of lenses available. You can swap easily between the different manufacturers, and that's almost unique. Different manufacturers using the same mount and the same standards has really been an aid. The lenses vary in quality and they vary in price like any system does, but even the lowest quality lenses in the Micro Four Thirds tend to be really, really good. And even the pro range lenses aren't out of the pocket for most people who are enthusiasts in this field. Any hobby is expensive, and photography has never been a cheap hobby. But in comparison to some of the big manufacturers, getting into the pro level lenses in the Micro Four Thirds is considerably cheaper than getting into it in some of the other formats, especially the full frame formats. The lenses are smaller, and because of that, less expensive to make. And here we are, number 1. Well, what do I say about number 1? It's got to be the weight and size. Now I know before I go too far, the trolls are going to be putting their comments below, and please do, I'm open to hearing from you. And they're going to be bringing examples of a certain camera body and a certain lens combination which will beat some of the Micro Four Thirds cameras. But in reality, I don't believe it can be beaten. Yes, there are 1 or 2 examples which you can pull out the bag which can match them, even slightly beat them. But as an overall range, I don't believe there's anything there. Going from something like the GH1, the sort of pocket-sized Lumix camera, and again I did a review on my GH1, have a look above and there's a link. The GH1 is a real pocket camera. That being used with some of the pancake zooms gives you the ability to have a full Micro Four Thirds system, in that case with 16 megapixels, which will fit in your pocket. The GH, the GF series, all those small pocket-sized cameras, the pen cameras from Olympus, they will all give you fantastic results using the same sensors that you have in the bigger cameras and the ability to use exactly the same lenses. But these go from a pocket camera all the way up to the highest of the professional range cameras, either in the video line with the GH5 Mark II and the incoming GH6, On the still side with the Olympus OMD EM1 range, whether it be the EM1 Mark 1, Mark 2, Mark 3 or the EM1X. Fantastic cameras on that. Or down the Lumix line if you go into something like the G9. Fantastic, serious professional quality cameras using the same sensors as in the pocket ones. And the big difference on them is just the usability features and the size. When we're talking about these professional cameras, I'll match anyone's expectations with any of the DSLR cameras that I've used with what I've got in the Micro Four Thirds line. They are small, they are neat. Have a look at this, for instance, on this one. If I get my camera, which the only thing I've got left actually, I've sold the rest off, is my APS-C 7D Canon. Now this has got the 17 to 85mm lens, which gives us something around about a 27 to 136 or so full frame equivalents. This is a big lens. It's not the kit lens, but it's a little bit up from that, but reasonable quality. If I compare that, it's 1.4 kilograms for the camera body and the lens. Yes, you get lighter APS-C cameras. This is the top of the range of the APS-C cameras as it was. But when we compare this to the top of the range of the stills cameras, something like the EM1 Mark II, which I've got here, this has got the 12-60 Lumix lens on it, and it's about half the weight. Now that means that I've either got a much easier time carrying the cameras and using the cameras, or if I'm travelling somewhere I can take more. Let's have a look. I can take something like my 40 to 150. I can put the 7 to 14 in. So I've got everything from a 7mm, which is a full frame 14, all the way up to 150mm, which is a full frame equivalent to 300. I've got everything in there, and it's still less than the weight of just the 7D and that zoom lens. And even better, if I concede 60 grams, and that's about 60 grams, I can stick my my 25mm f1.7 in, and I've got great low light capability as well. This to me beats it hands down. They're small in the hand, even the professional ones are small in the hand. Yes, something like the G9 is quite a large body for a Micro Four Thirds, but overall the system makes it usable. And although I can come to see one or two little usable things, one or two little mismatches between them where you can find an APS-C or a full frame body which will match it, I haven't come across an APS-C or a full frame system yet which can take you from a pocket camera all the way up to the top of the range professional line using the same lenses, using the same system, and be usable and give great quality results all the way through. Now I'm coming up to 60 years old. I started taking photographs when I was 6 or 7 years old, so I've had over 50 years of taking photographs. I've humped and dumped cameras around the place. I've had some large cameras, some small ones, but nothing has fitted the bill as well as Micro Four Thirds system does for me as I'm getting older, needing something lighter, easier, and just as usable, just as adaptable. Because the problem is that as I've gone through my life, my expectations of what I want and what I expect from an image have gone up. But my abilities, my strength and my stamina have gone down somewhat. I need a system which will give me all of the quality, all of the facilities that I want, but in a smaller, lighter, neater package. And Micro Four Thirds does that. So that is my number one reason for using Micro Four Thirds over any other camera system. Now again, as I said earlier on, I know we're going to get some of the trolls who are going to be putting all sorts of comments down below, and I do encourage as many comments as I do if they're constructive. But this is what suits me. This is the reason that I've changed to Micro Four Thirds over the years. Now to give you an idea, when I first got on Micro Four Thirds, I had an Olympus EM5 Mark I and had the Lumix 14 to 42 kit lens. That was my introduction into Micro Four Thirds, just as a taster to see what it was like. I took a whole lot of cadets across to Normandy to France for a week's visit all the war sites over there from the Second World War. And my intention was I was going to use the EM5 and 40 and 42 on one day, and I was going to use my 7D Canon with its lenses on alternate days. I was going to swap them over. I didn't have a preference, and I really wanted to see if the Micro Four Thirds was actually going to be as usable as I hoped it would be. I ended up using the Canon for one day, and at the end of that day I was tired. I'm tired carrying it around, but I had a day previous using the Olympus and I came fresh as a daisy. So for the rest of that time, the rest of that week, I stuck to the Olympus because it was a far, far more usable system. And at the end of the day, a usable camera gives usable results and usable photographs. If I'm not happy using that camera, I won't be taking photographs at all. And that to me was a real eye-opener, and I've never looked back. So I hope this has been useful to you. Oh, and before I forget, let's go back where I was to the gateway, and I'll give you my bonus tip. Now I said I'm going to give you a bonus reason as to why Micro Four Thirds, so this is effectively number 6 of 5 reasons. Number 6 of 5, good, it'll do. It's video. Yes, I know that Canon were the ones who really pioneered using DSLRs for video, and they did a superb job. But that was 10 years ago, more years in fact. And one of the things that I've found with doing this is, especially as a fairly new vlogger on YouTube, is I find it very, very difficult to be able to operate the camera myself and get some consistent shots. But with these cameras, what I'm able to do is get some great displays. I'm looking at the camera display beside me here. I can see whether I'm in focus. I can see all the focus points. I can see all the information. And this is something which has really opened video out for me. So number 6 of 5 is the video. Another noisy car. Now I know this is going to cause some controversy, but the bonus reason for me is the video. Lumix especially have taken video production into a totally different area from what it was previously. Now I know that there are competing brands and they are doing well. I'm not trying to put any other format down or any other brand down, especially when you get some of the dual pixel autofocus that you get on some of the Canon range. They leave some of the problems that we have with Lumix miles behind. But as an overall system, I found the Micro Four Thirds, especially as a solo vlogger who's trying to do everything. I'm a one-man band, I'm the editor, I'm the production man, I'm the director, I'm also the cameraman, and trying to do all those jobs, I've just found that Micro Four Thirds cameras make it easy. So number 6 out of my 5 reasons, video. So there they are, my top 5 reasons for me, personally, switching to Micro Four Thirds from any other camera format. I'm a great believer in it, and I still think that these are the best reasons to do it. So whatever it is, I'm sure you're going to leave some comments below. There'll be some people who'll disagree, there'll be people who'll agree, but this is my personal reasons for doing it. Leave the comments below. Don't forget to like the video, give me a thumbs up, because that really does help YouTube to spread it to more people. And also, hit a comment, hit the subscribe, hit the little notification bell, and if you've enjoyed it, how about giving me a cup of coffee in the PayPal link below. Whatever it is, whichever format you shoot on, whichever camera you have, take it out, take some photos, enjoy your photography. This is Brian James saying, I'll see you next time. All the best. Bye bye.